This is Eagle Owl, and today we're going to go over training camp notes. We're going to talk about Joshua Uche starting to heat up. Also, the Dotson and Jalen Hurts connection is getting stronger. And we're going to talk about something else as well, but briefly. But of course, we're going to go over the camp notes. But let's get straight into it. Like I said, we're going to talk about something briefly because the unofficial depth chart had came out by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, again, briefly, the one thing, there's really only one thing that stood out to me the most is the linebacker group. So the linebacker group, you see how they got the slashes next to the battles, Andrew Makuba versus Sidney Brown and Kelee Ringo versus Adoree Jackson. But the one group that did not have a slash is Trotter Jr. and Jahad Campbell. You would assume that would be a battle. But right now, it's just saying Trotter Jr. is the starter, then it's Zach Bond. Now, again, unofficial, but that stood out to me because I've been saying I think Trotter Jr. is going to start. I believe Jahad Campbell will find ways on the field some way, somehow. But right now, I think Trotter Jr. is the starter. But I could be wrong. The season could start. And it could be like a Quinyon thing. Remember, it was Isaiah Rodgers and Slay. But when the season started, Isaiah Rodgers dealt with an injury. Quinyon, he's on the outside and the rest is history. So something like that can happen. Hopefully Trotter don't get hurt. Nothing like that. But whereas though the season start, you're like, oh, okay, it was Jahad Campbell the whole time. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. But let's get into the camp notes. Let's start with the injury report. So Zach Bond, once again, with the back injury. A.J. Brown, hamstring. Lewis Steen, hamstring. Montrell Johnson, hamstring. Terrence Marshall Jr., knee. Byron Young, groin. Then you had Trevor Keegan back. Then you had Ben Van Sumeren, ankle. Mac McWilliams, quad. Nolan Smith was limited with the concussion. Ironically, he came back and then got hurt again. I heard he was vomiting, so he had to leave early. But he was limited. Andrew Makuba was limited, and Charles Hughley. The guys y'all was on me in the comment section like you don't know who the long snapper is, not just by seeing it like this, but he was limited. So Vic Fangio, he spoke about again Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson, how like they both having a good camp, but I've been reporting like both haven't really been that great. So it comes off to like most reporters and most YouTubers like we're lying. But then you guys see my earlier video that we traded for another cornerback. So yeah, Vic Fangio does keep it solid. And to him, they probably just really having just a good camp. Not great, not outstanding, but just good. And we decided to bring in more competition. Was it Vic Fangio? Was it Howie Roseman? I don't know. But Bennett is a Philadelphia Eagle. We got another cornerback. So it's going to be interesting, but in the battle with those three, I think Eli Ricks is in there. We'll see. I don't know. But there's 4 cornerbacks in the battle for that CB2 spot. Now, let's talk about the linebackers a bit. This was interesting. Again, Jahad Campbell did not start immediately. It was Smile Munden and Trotter Jr. But the one constant has been Trotter Jr. So right now, look like he's running away with the lead. Was starting the line as a linebacker. Getting the unofficial depth chart came out unofficial, and it showed Trotter Jr. See how we lined up in the preseason. See how many snaps Jahad Campbell and Trotter Jr. get and Smile Monday, because I really want to see these guys with my own eyes. But the linebacker group, again, the one constant has been Trotter Jr. Zach Bond been dealing with a back. Jahad Campbell been hybrid. Vic Fangio even came out and said maybe we putting a little bit too much on his plate. Smile Monday has been solid, but I don't see Smile Monday starting over Jahad Campbell if it comes down to that. So, again, the linebacker group just been very fun to watch. But let's talk about the defensive end group. Now, this was a battle I honestly did not expect, was Uche versus Jalyx Hunt, because you just assume like, oh yeah, it's going to be Jalyx Hunt and Nolan Smith. But what's happening right now is Joshua Uche is looking like Patriots Joshua Uche, and what that means is very dominant. So we decided to start with Nolan Smith and Joshua Uche as the ones, and then Jalyx Hunt and Azeez Ojulari with the twos. Now, could this be like a more mismatch thing? Maybe, but all through camp, it been Nolan Smith, Jalyx Hunt. Then we just decided Joshua Uche been hot for like a week. Like, let's go with him with the ones and Nolan Smith with the ones. So there might be a little battle there between who's going to start. To me, when it comes to the defensive line, it really doesn't matter who starts. It matters who get the most snaps. Like Jordan Davis was the starter, but Milton Williams was getting more snaps than Jordan Davis. So it just all depends who could get the most snaps. But I think what Vic Fangio see is like, if Uche is playing like this, man, we could get some good out of this guy. And to be honest, Jalyx Hunt did not have the best day yesterday. He was getting stonewalled and everything. But again, he's matching up against Jordan Mailata. So, things like that happens. Not trying to poo-poo on Jalyx Hunt, but again, he just wasn't having the best day. And then Joshua Uche just on fire. So, it might be something there in the battle. But with Nolan Smith, you guys starting to come in my comments like, Eagle Owl, you might be right about Nolan Smith's health. That's my only thing. I think Nolan Smith is a baller. I keep telling y'all that, but it's the injuries that worries me about him. Now, it's not nothing sprained or anything like that. He probably dealing with more concussion stuff, and then the Eagles are being precautious about it. But it is like alarming when you hear these things about Nolan Smith being hurt. He comes back and get hurt again. Or maybe he was sick. I don't know. So the edge battle is something that's been underrated. I usually don't talk about the stars, right? But I have to talk about Jalen Hurts and Jahan Dotson. Because what we all seen last year, towards the end of the season, you start seeing the connection more. So last practice, or the practice before last, Jalen Hurts was trying to get Jahan Dotson involved, but the connection was off. Or it'd be an overthrow or too short. Just something was off. But Jalen Hurts yesterday had one of his best practice. And that's because Jahan Dotson and him was just on the same page. Him and, of course, Devontae Smith was just on the same page. And when him and Jalen Hurts, Jahan Dotson and Jalen Hurts start connecting really well, that's when the offense started flowing really well, because they did a lot of drills backed up in the 5 and the 10. And Jalen Hurts was finding Jahan Dotson. Jalen Hurts was finding Devontae Smith. Again, the offense needed that win. They had a win. So, if Jahan Dotson and Jalen Hurts get it right, and then with A.J. Brown, we know what A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts can do. Offense can be unstoppable. So it's good. Again, Jahan Dotson did not have this opportunity for training camp because we traded for him later in, August. So he had to learn a playbook on the fly. And now he gets a full training camp with us. And Jalen Hurts had, the whole offseason to work with him. And now it's starting to show now. So that's really good. So we might get a little bit more Jahan Dotson during the regular season. Eli Ricks, once again, had 3+ PBUs. Elijah Cooks, the guy that been hot. The only guy that been able to stop him is Eli Ricks. So Eli Ricks was matched up against him 1-on-1s, 11-on-11s, doing a really good job. Like I reported earlier, there has been a trade. So now you got more competition. Now, I want to talk about Gabe Hall. Gabe Hall is having a strong camp, a really strong camp. So we traded Thomas Booker, who actually had a good day yesterday. But Gabe Hall has been out of this world good. I mean, he been getting tackles for loss, sacks. He been dominating against the second team. He got a couple first team reps, but now that might ramp up a little more with Thomas Booker out the way. And I said, soon as we traded Thomas Booker, I like Thomas Booker. I really do. But soon as it happened, I'm like, I completely understand. Because you don't want to run the risk again of cutting Gabe Hall and putting him on the practice squad. Because now somebody might pick him off your practice squad or claim him off waivers. Whereas though you could get some value out of Thomas Booker, trade him somewhere, a team that's thin that defensive tackle and you get a solid cornerback. And it's all because how good Gabe Hall has been and how good Thomas Booker has been. And now Thomas Booker could go somewhere to shine, and Gabe Hall could come here and take those Thomas Booker snaps. So Gabe Hall, I won't say a lock, but he's damn near there because Byron Young, the guy we actually traded for from the Raiders, he's been hurt. He's been okay, but Gabe Hall has been really good. 1-on-1, I mean, I was about to say 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. He's been really good. So shout out to Gabe Hall. This might be his opportunity, whereas though, his name is called and he made the team. Now, ShunDerrick Powell has been like a highlight guy, UDFA, fast, small, shifty guy. So he had broken a tackle on Dallas Grant, our backup linebacker, and just went and scored like nobody could catch him. So he's just been a highlight waiting to happen. Like reporters are saying, when the preseason start, don't be surprised if he be the one to break a play and fans get hyped and there be a lot of conversations about him because he's able to do those things. He's very electric. He's very fun to watch. So ShunDerrick Powell is one of those guys we're going to have to watch during the preseason, but he broke a big one for a touchdown. But speaking of that, I want to talk about a wide receiver I haven't talked about is Giles Jackson. Remember that guy? I thought he was just going to be a special teams ace. So he caught the longest pass in training camp for a touchdown. It was a 50-plus yarder from DTR, who's been having a really good camp. And Giles Jackson, the name's starting to get out there. He caught a couple balls here and there. And then it was just that 50-yard bomb. It's like, wow. Now, do Giles Jackson make this team? I don't know. I haven't heard his name enough. Maybe practice squad or maybe somebody else claim him. But Giles Jackson, if he continue this and show some things in the preseason, he got a strong chance of making a practice squad. I don't know at receiver, especially with Elijah Cooks and then Ananias Smith. We'll see what happens when Terrence Marshall Jr. come back. So we got some competition at wide receiver for sure. Then Avery Williams, I ain't even mention him. He might be the fifth guy strictly off of special teams. But keep making plays. Definitely keep making plays. Again, I don't like talking about stars, but we got to talk about Quinyon Mitchell. As good as the day Dotson had, there were times Quinyon Mitchell smothered Dotson. There were times where Quinyon Mitchell smothered Devontae Smith. Quinyon Mitchell is starting to show he's a star. He's a star in this league, and he will be a star. He matched up against A.J. Brown when he was healthy. He had times where he locked up Devontae Smith. So he been locking our number ones, number twos, and number threes up. So Quinyon's starting to become a household name. Let's talk some positive news about my new guy, Tyler Steen. So Tyler Steen, he had got hurt, but he's like, nah, not again. He got back up and went right back to work. So shout out to Tyler Steen. But he also had some 1-on-1s and 11-on-11s matched up against Mauro Dromo, who had another good day. But Tyler Steen, he wasn't having none of that. Like, I'm not about to keep getting beat by you. So he shut down Mauro Dromo on the 1-on-1s. They're really good against him on the 11-on-11s. We heard what Jalen Carter had to say about Tyler Steen, like he's a hell of a player. Couple practices ago, Tyler Steen put Jalen Carter on his back. So I said this time and time again about Tyler Steen. Since the Pats came on, Tyler Steen has been playing at a high level. I can't deny that. Now let's talk about Kelee Ringo, right? So Kelee Ringo, again, as you guys know, we traded for another cornerback and Bennett. But Kelee Ringo, I asked the guy I get the notes from, I'm like, what's really the problem with Kelee Ringo or what's going on? He said Kelee Ringo could keep up with the receivers, like hip to hip. He's not just getting burnt toast or whatever. The main problem is that he's not getting his head turned around. The problem with that is we know in the NFL, when you get a defensive pass interference, is a spot call. It's not like, just a 5-yard gain or whatever. If it's 30 yards, it's going to be 30 yards. If it's 40, 50 yards, it's going to be 40, 50 yards. A lot of receivers are going deep on them. Jalen, Tanner McKee, whoever is throwing on his side, and he's pulling on the receivers. and not looking back. And you know, when you're not looking back, it causes defensive pass interference. So the problem with him is he's too handsy. He's too undisciplined. He's undisciplined, and he got to fix that fast. He got to fix that because it's becoming a huge problem. I know a lot of people talking about his hips. He's not fluid, this, that, and the third. But what I'm hearing, the real problem is he's not playing technically sound, good football. It's as simple as that. Just the little things. Again, turning your head when the ball is coming your way is a problem for Kelee Ringo. And you know, the Eagles, I could say, they gave him an opportunity, but he just haven't showed much in camp. And now young competition comes in and is trying to take your spot. So Kelee Ringo, you better step up, man. But man, that's the camp notes I have for you guys, man. I am shot tired. I did not expect to make 2 videos that night, but it is what it is. Gotta drop these videos for you guys to enjoy. I've been trying to get them out in the morning, but we'll see what happens with this one. Does it come out in the morning, afternoon? A training camp comes out today, or the Eagles have training camp today, Tuesday, then Wednesday we rest, and Thursday the first preseason game. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get this one out. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.